City of Apache Junction meeting for March 7th, 2023, and ask everyone to put their phones on silent. The invocation will be led by the Vice Mayor Schroeder, and Councilman Heck will be done the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity of bringing us all together to discuss the city's business. Please give us guidance in making the right decisions for this growing city. Please have a watchful eye over our first responders, our police department, fire department, paramedics. Please show us that together we can make a difference. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Wilson,
I think I'm here.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
I'm with you. Here.
Councilmember Cross,
Here.
Councilmember Heck,
Here.
Councilmember Johnson,
Here.
Councilmember Nesser,
Present.
Councilmember Soller.
Here.
You have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. Consent agenda. As a reminder, all items in the consent agenda will be approved with one motion. If a council member wishes to remove an item for further discussion, the request must be made prior to approving the consent agenda and will be moved to new business. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember Soller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes, Your Honor.
Okay, we don't have any presentations and proclamations. Intergovernment updates. Anyone over here have anything for intergovernment? Over here.
No, sir.
All right, I have one thing that I wanted to bring up. I had the opportunity to meet with Senator Sinema this past Friday, and along with 8 other mayors from throughout the, say, Pinal County area. And one of the things that, kind of interesting was that she has presented a letter that has been sent to the president trying to make copper a critical material and mining materials. Right now, it is not. There is just 2 operations of smelters in the United States, one of them here in Arizona. And really and truthfully, what's going on is it's all being shipped overseas to China, and they're smelting it and then turning around and sending it back to us at an increased cost. So we're trying, or she's trying to get more smelters in the United States as well. She's also, we addressed some problems that other cities are having, which thank goodness some of them we're not having problems with. It's with the federal government rules for grants for, I'll say, infrastructure updates. One of them is they're replacing the water lines in the community because of age, and they're digging up all the roadway to put the new water lines in, but the funds only are replacing the pipe and not redoing the roads. So the cost of doing the roads is tremendous, so they're not doing it. They're losing the funds. And some of the communities are trying to build some diversions for floodwaters for the fire damage that was done in the area. And the requirement is from the time that you put in for it, everything has to be completed in 120 days. And they don't even have any local contractors in the community. And then when they contact other contractors outside the area, they're not interested in driving all the way to Superior and Globe, and so they're losing their funds as well. And it's something that the Senator says that she needs to look into to see what we can do on that, because she was pushing very hard on that bill to get it done so that it was addressing the needs of a state, throughout the state. One of the things I talked to her about was the, I'll say the diversion that we're talking about for Weeks Wash, and how we may be needing some assistance because part of the land is BLM land and state land, and she says she's all for assisting us in what can be done. Also talked about State Route 88 and the loss of tourist traffic, and had several cities join in that said, yes, that's very important to us as well. And she kind of smiled and says, I can't even go over it either, so she understood that very much. All right. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. Bryant Powell, City Manager. On an update on two major projects, Weeks Wash, and the work we're doing with BLM on the rodeo grounds. So with Weeks Wash, the staff, Emil Schmidt at City Engineer is working very closely with our consultants and groups on making a grant application to the federal government to help us. This project can be a game changer. We've had and continue to have concern as we prepare for the next monsoon that we don't have that protection. So we wanted to share with the community and with you that we are continuing to meet with not only Mayor, you got to meet with the Senator, but her staff, but also with Senator Kelly's staff and with Representative Biggs' staff as well. So we have a meeting set up to go over those discussions to get them prepared for any help that may come through their office and in support of us being able to utilize and work with the BLM, as well as grant dollars to actually build and construct it. Liz Langenbach, Parks Director, received an email from the folks over at BLM regarding their rodeo grounds, and I can announce that we're getting closer and closer. I think within this spring will be a chance to be able to communicate to you and others that we will be able to purchase and send and own the rodeo grounds. So really pleased that that is finally getting to that last phase, and here in the near term be able to let you know. And the latter part of my report, Al, will be for current events. If I could turn it over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Al Bravo, Public Information Officer for the city. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. A couple of things that I wanted to at least bring up real quick before we go any farther, and I'm hoping that Councilmember Cross can fill in the gaps a little bit. So a couple of pictures from over the weekend. The Pony Express ceremonial ride happened through the city on the weekend, and our illustrious police chief on the horse there was a part of the relay, was part of the group that went through the city. But I'm hoping Councilmember Cross can shed a little more light on how the whole ride went.
I sure can, seeing how I was the trail boss for this. This is our second annual one, and we put it together this time to where we actually took the course right through the heart of Apache Junction, right down Apache Trail, all the way to Meridian, did a U-turn there at the light, and came all the way back through and right down across Old West Highway, out to Silly Mountain, and then come back across and up Gold Canyon, up Goldfield Road, and headed out to the museum, and then over to the ghost town. Then we came back across the desert over to Prospector Park, and from there went over to P&M Arena via Lost Dutchman, did a circle up around by McKellips in the Goldfield Mountains, and then back to the rodeo grounds. And our last leg took us over to the hitching post, where we went ahead and delivered all of our postcards that we had sold over the last couple months to the postmaster. And believe it or not, so I delivered the mail on Saturday afternoon, and already got several notices from friends and family that they already received their postcards in the mail. So it works out really well. We're trying to do a fundraiser here and also bring awareness to the horse community and to the residents of AJ that we are a horse community. And this is a real fun way of doing it. People get to see reenactment of a Pony Express ride and how they used to deliver the mail, so.
There you go, the Pony Express still lives at Apache Junction. I did want to recap a couple of big events that have happened over the last couple of weeks since last we met. One, last Thursday, despite snow on the mountain and temperatures in the minus 20-degree range or whatever it was, the annual water festival continues to educate fourth graders and folks from throughout the area on water conservation, how water flows, a lot of the different things that are very, very important to folks in the desert like us here in Arizona and here in Apache Junction. So the Water Festival, which is done in cooperation with the Extension Service from the University of Arizona, along with Arizona Water Company, and of course the Apache Junction Water District, another very successful day. I think all but one school ended up still coming out despite the cold temperatures last Thursday. Also at the same time, our wonderful library did break ground, if you will, cut a ribbon on its new refurbished mobile library. This is the mobile unit that will be going around throughout the city to try to bring library services to different residents throughout the city, not just books, but DVDs and different materials as well. They even have a Wi-Fi, mobile Wi-Fi unit and a printer, so people can, help out some folks who may not have access to such things. So that's a brand new one. They received a state grant from the state library to be able to refurbish the truck. Lost Dutchman Days, another successful event, of course, probably the signature event, biggest one in the city at the aforementioned rodeo grounds. Wonderful attendance on Friday and Saturday with the great weather, but even Sunday, and I was there on Sunday, even with the snow on the mountain and the cold temperatures, we still had a pretty good turnout for folks coming out to see the rodeo as well as to take part in the carnival and the other things that are going on. And I do appreciate several of our council coming out to man our city booth on Sunday as well, despite temperatures. Everybody should know a couple of things that are coming up, and actually this is one that's just launched. As you have heard earlier this year, the Apache Junction Water District and the Arizona Water Company are embarking on a big water conservation campaign. It is mostly an online campaign at this point, but it will likely expand. It's called One Water, Our Water. You can learn all about it at onewateraj.com. You can also go to our city website at apachejunctionaz.gov and learn all about our water conservation efforts and how you can all help save us water so we can continue to do what we need to do, even though we live in a desert and in drought in that desert. A very, very important initiative, to say the least. This weekend is Blues and Brews. That is one of the newer events that happens in Flatiron Park. We usually draw at least 1,000, a couple thousand folks. We'll see how that turns out this weekend. It is Saturday the 11th in Flatiron from 11 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. You can go to superstitionbluesfest.com for all the details. And I want to remind everybody that March also means there's still plenty of stuff going on in parks. You can go to the city website and go to apachejunctionaz.gov and then /parks, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. You can also go to /events. That'll tell you everything also that's going on out there. And remember, you can get all of this information every week sent to your email box if you go to apachejunctionaz.gov/newsletter. Sign up now. And that's a report for March the 7th, 2023.
Thank you. Oh, excuse me. Okay, public hearings. Items number 8 and 9 are related to the same subject matter. After hearing staff's presentation, I will combine the public hearing. Anna.
Which one is it, Anna?
It's dated 3/7. It's down towards the bottom.
Okay.
There we go. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Anna McCrae, HR Director. Long time no see. On February 21st, at your regular city council meeting, we discussed and I presented on the proposed 2023 City of Apache Junction personnel rules. I responded to some questions you had tonight as that public hearing. Resolution number 23-02 adopts the document by reference so that our Madam Clerk does not have to read the entire document. And ordinance number 1533 actually adopts the personnel rules. The personnel rules were discussed again at that February 21st meeting. The personnel rules were last revised in 2016. They are amended with city council approval. Again, just to go over quickly, the purpose of those changes were to incorporate any changes in employment laws. It's to optimize working conditions of our employees and also provide rules and conditions for the employment. And if approved this evening, these personnel rules will take effect immediately. All city employees will be notified tomorrow. And HR plans to do a biannual review of these to see if there's any additional changes needed as we move forward. Any questions that I can answer?
Any questions?
Anna, I have a question.
Sure.
There was an item on there when you gave us the presentation that I asked you to go back and explain a little bit about the city manager's authority to, if you can refresh my memory, that change the pay grade, change the tier of what it is?
Correct. So under the personnel rules, the city manager has a threshold in our salary range. It's by grades that he can reclassify a position within. So right now, these personnel rules would change that threshold so the city manager could change anything under a grade 40, which is our department director level, which means if we just did a minimum wage increase and we noticed that when we moved everybody that 8% up on the minimum wage increase, it encroached and they were making more money than people that supervise those employees. So with that, we had to address those immediate employees that were in that compression. The city manager was able to reclassify those employees that were now making less money than those people with the minimum wage increase into a higher grade.
So how was that handled before?
Handled before?
Like, I mean, this is new, right?
No,
This is-
it's not new. Only the grade changed. So the city manager before could do it for any grade under 29. Now he can do it for any grade under grade 40.
So, but you've never had a scenario over 29?
Typically, this has come into play when he creates a new department director position. He at this point, he couldn't create just a new department director position without you all knowing about it and acknowledging it before he created that and recruited for it, because it's above that 40 threshold. So used to that 20 years ago used to be down at 30 or something.
Yeah.
But now it's just kept, because of market changes, moves up. So it allows your city manager the flexibility to create or reclassify without having to come back for every single position to you. It's just a threshold of kind of department director or above.
And because through our general increases, our step increases, and also our market study that we did in October 2021, the grades have moved up, so it was just appropriate to move his direction on that up as well.
Okay. I just don't know what the harm would be if you're creating a position in the city that you would come to mayor and council over in.
That's a good point. We haven't really, I think we still have always worked off of, if we needed to come back for a department director and above, we need to let you know.
Right.
Yeah,
And
but there isn't necessarily any harm in that either. It's just it's
Yeah.
just kind of how we've done it.
It's how involved does council want to be in those personnel operational issues too?
Mayor,
Yes?
I think that this is a good thing. I believe that the city manager should have flexibility to stay competitive with this. I know our city manager, and even if he does make that, I'm sure he's gonna he's gonna let council know, hey, I did this and this is why. I don't think there's gonna be anything sneaky done here. I think it's just being smart.
No, I wasn't saying anything
No, I know.
nefarious is going on here. It's just when it comes to creating positions and taxpayer dollars, we are the ones that represent the taxpayers. We are the ones that represent the people. And if something is going to be created, we should be the ones that are kept apprised of.
It might not even be created. It might be, they see that this position is now, because of somebody getting a bump in salary because of whatever reason, they're making more than the person that supervises them. This gives him the ability to say, okay, we're gonna bump you up a percentage.
Yeah, and
To cover
yes,
that.
and maybe we should, go ahead, Gon, and clarify.
Well, I was just going to say typically, right now, we're in the budget process.
Yeah.
Any new positions that are requested by departments are part of that. HR requires those in January. We do our review, we classify them, we propose where they should fall in. That is part of your checks and balances during the budget process. At that same time, you're also adopting the classification and compensation plan for the city. So I highly advise that you look that over thoroughly during your budget review. That's your chance to look at those new positions and what the pay is. But that typically outside of that, very rarely, well, I
Very-
shouldn't say rarely. but
Very
I will-
rarely has
yeah.
this ever been used in
Right.
terms of that. And I also do believe, like, that department director and above, we would need to come.
And that's the case now.
Yeah, and that's the case now. So I kind of see where or vice mayor's going with this, and we would come back for that high level.
But this would make it so you didn't have to.
For
department
anything department director,
We'd have to.
they would have to
Yeah.
come.
We
But
would have
under
to.
it, it gives the city manager the flexibility, yeah.
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, honest, I thought I saw somewhere that this was for anything that was classification 41 and below.
It's 40 and below 40.
So those are all department director positions? They're all the non-exempt positions, right?
No, they're both exempt and non-exempt.
Okay.
It's where they fall in the salary grade. And
Okay.
grade 40 is our department director level.
Okay, so if anything below that.
Correct.
Right.
Okay, so if you have a classification then, and a decision is made to adjust that classification, everyone in that classification gets that adjustment,
That is correct.
okay? Is it a percentage? I mean, let's say, I'm sure in a certain classification, you might have somebody making $14 an hour, somebody making $14.75, $14.80. They would get a percent bump then? They wouldn't all be brought up to the exact same level?
That is correct. We
Okay.
look at that for internal equity. If they're at a step 5 within that grade and we reclassify them to the next grade, they're going to be a step 5 in that grade. Whereas if somebody's in a step 3, step 7, they're going to go to the appropriate step. So they won't be on the even same step within that grade if there was an adjustment.
Okay.
Yeah. Your Honor?
Yes.
One of the things I noticed is, under vacation leave, that it stated on page 38 that, when you're requesting vacation leave, that, the manager would give an answer or reply in a timely manner.
Correct.
I've seen in some places, timely manner means 6 months. Timely manner can mean 6 days. I think it should be defined, because it's not fair to the employee that puts in for a real special thing that's happening in August, and he puts in for it in July, or not July, but in May, April, and the manager says, well, it's too far down the road, I can't give you an answer right now.
Thank you, Councilmember Cross. I will say that we have fabulous department directors and supervisors, and to date, I do not know of any issues with that not being done in a timely manner. I know that employees usually, if they have to book flights or whatnot, they make that known at the time, and then usually there's a timely turnaround on that. If that's something you want to wait till the next round of revisions, we can define. If that's something you'd like, we can, go back for revisions. I can add that revision in this round as well.
Or we could add as a change if we vote on it tonight.
Absolutely.
Can they add it as a form amendment?
You just have to be definitive on that.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
members of council, yes, you could add whatever you think is a reasonable amount of time.
I would say a week at the most.
I
Would
say
be
2
reasonable.
weeks, probably.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not a manager,
I'm
so
used to
you're in
I'm used
that
to 2
position, but
I'm used to 2 weeks, but.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Joel, is there any legal definition of a timely manner?
No, this is a city code, so there's nothing in state law that says it has to be by a certain time.
Couple weeks.
Not to prejudice the employee, of course, so it's up to you if you want to say a number of days. We're on a 4-day work week, but for some people, we're not,
right.
like for officers.
But 2 weeks, 2 weeks.
If you want to
Yeah.
say 2 calendar weeks,
Now, how would they do that? Would they just
we
just
go to the item, let's see.
Put that in your motion.
In the motion.
You put in the, yeah, you identify the page,
It's page 38,
38, 39.
under,
Section 2.
leave, section 2.
vaccine- yeah.
and then just say a reasonable amount of time is 2 weeks, 2 calendar weeks.
Yeah.
Do we need to,
You'd need that in your motion.
In a
Whoever makes a motion would
Yep.
say,
okay.
I want to add the following amendment to,
It'd be,
The rules.
Rule 8, section 2.
Anyone else?
Good suggestion. Public hearing.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. I will now open the public hearing. There's a 5-minute time limit with a 1-minute warning you will hear. Please state your name and address for the record. Does anyone like to speak on this? And, okay, yes, come forward.
Good evening, Council. Andre Meek, 1327 South Bel Air Road here in AJ. Your 2-week that you've just mentioned, that's kind of arbitrary. You ought to do 14 days, because if I come to you on Wednesday, is that okay? Well, I'll give you 2 weeks, but is that 2 calendar weeks or 14 days? So I think that maybe you ought to look at it that way over just 2 weeks.
Sure.
That's all I have to say.
Anyone else? Yes.
I just have a question. Is the code of conduct in this personnel rules? Yes, no? Code of
We're not-
conduct?
It's not in.
well, we
Is
can't.
that part of the personnel rules for the employees and staff and everybody?
I think Anna can answer
On
that.
a,
He needs to state his name.
Mayor and council, and we did add a ethics section and professional conduct section in these personnel rules.
I guess I just have a question.
Sir, can you please state your name and
Oh,
address?
I'm sorry. My name's Jack Matashoni, and I love this area. I love Apache Junction, and I appreciate what you guys do for our community. But the reason I asked, I just was curious because I'm going with the fact that probably endorsing a political party on city council is probably a violation of the code of conduct. I did read the one passed in 2019, and it does show it in there. And I don't know if you guys could commit to yourselves tonight to say that you're going to follow the code or follow the personnel rules like you should. That's all I have to say right now. I'm going to talk later, but anyway, thank you for giving me the time.
Thank you.
any discussion from us? All right, I see no other call to, yes. Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Brenda Gifford, 145 South Palo Verde. Because of Mr. Matachoni's question, I think maybe this is the appropriate time. It's my understanding that all of you run as nonpartisans. Am I correct? All of the council members, the mayor, and everyone. It seems like it's a problem for me that if you run as a nonpartisan, then subsequently choose to use your title in a partisan way to endorse a candidate should be part of the violation
Ma'am.
of the rules and ethics.
Nothing to do with this.
So there's
It's
two different
part
code
of
of
the code of
conducts.
conduct.
Two different code of conducts. This is what I was afraid of. So the personnel rules deal with employees, and our professional service, maybe we need to clarify here. We do have you've done your own code of conduct council that's different than this, just to clarify. There's a section of employees on professionalism or ethics that's different than the comments that are being brought forward, so.
Even though they are paid, so they are employees.
No,
No.
no. We're
Well,
elected officials.
we're kind of getting, I think he should let her say her piece, and then we can clarify afterwards.
Okay,
To
all right.
meet the open meeting law.
I just think that for everyone to have run as nonpartisan people, and then after election, to use your title and your party affiliation to endorse candidates, whether it's Republican or Democrat, should be a violation of a code of conduct. I think it's inappropriate. And I know that the Pinell County District 5 Republicans voted unanimously to censure the mayor because he chose to do that.
You want to make a comment on?
If you'd like me to, I will.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the council in 2000, starting in 18 and then into 19, after I don't know how many sessions, I think 4 or 5, created a code of conduct. And that is something that applies to the city council as well as board and commission members. And I believe that might be able to find it online, but that it does talk about endorsements of political parties, especially during elections. And we could bring that up at another time because it's not really on the agenda.
Okay. Anyone want to comment?
Mayor, are we going to vote on the 2 weeks, or I like this idea of 14 days? That way, if somebody turns something in the middle of the week, he has 14 days to respond. I actually like that idea. Are we going to vote on that?
14 calendar days.
Yes.
That's what I wrote down, is 14 calendar days.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Do I have anyone else from the public wants to comment? No. Don't see anyone put their hands up. Okay, I'll close the public hearing and ask for motions on resolutions number 23-02 and ordinance number 1533.
Well, you do have to read the,
By title.
Separate motions, please?
Yes.
And then, yeah.
Yeah.
And the motion for the ordinance is
you
different.
have to read the title for the ordinance. So,
Okay. We'll read the motion or the,
So item number 8, I need someone to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2302 with any changes that you wish on
Your
it.
Honor, I move that resolution number 23-02, declaring as a public record that certain document filed with the city clerk entitled 2023 City of Apache Junction Personnel Rules be approved.
Second.
moved and seconded, roll call?
Councilmember Nesser?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Cross?
Yes.
Councilmember Heck?
Yes?
Councilmember Soller?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Motion passes, Your Honor. So your motion for the ordinance will,
My question is, did we vote on that and we cannot now put that change in?
no.
you have not
No,
voted on
no.
the ordinance yet. The ordinance is by title only, noting the amendment to the 14 days for the turnaround, defining the turnaround time.
Title only first motion.
Title, yeah, sorry.
Title,
So
yes.
title first, and then the second motion is with your amendment.
Your Honor,
Okay. I'll ask for this motion for the 1533.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I move that ordinance number 1533 be read by title only and the reading of the entire ordinance be waived.
Second?
Moved and seconded, roll call?
Okay, so Councilmember Soller?
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser?
Yes.
Councilmember Cross?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Heck?
Yes?
Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance number 1533, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Apache Junction, Arizona, adopting by reference that certain document entitled 2023 City of Apache Junction Personnel Rules, repealing any conflicting provisions, providing for severability, and declaring an emergency.
Okay, now I have the motion.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that ordinance number 1533 as read by the city clerk be approved and adopted with the following amendments: that under Rule 8, Section 2, in requesting leave, that a reasonable amount of time for that request to be honored is 14 calendar days.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call?
Councilmember Cross?
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser?
Yes.
Councilmember Heck?
Yes?
Vice Mayor Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Soller?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Motion passes, Your Honor.
All right, we have no old business, so new business. Presentation, discussion, consideration, or approval of resolution number 23-02 03, authorizing the city to enter into an intergovernment agreement with the Arizona Department of Transportation for the city's Tomahawk Road Widening Improvement Project. Racco.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Raquel Schatz with the Public Works Department, here to discuss and present an intergovernmental agreement with the Department of Transportation for a Tomahawk Road Widening Improvement Project. Very briefly, back in 2021, Public Works Department, we applied for a MAG grant through the Pinal County Surface Transportation Bridge Group Program, in which the city was awarded the cap amount of $1.4 million for construction in 2025. This amount was not, like I mentioned, it's a cap amount, meaning that that's all the amount we got, and we needed for additional funds, and this was for construction purposes only. So in 2022, just recently, MAG had another closeout amount of over $30 million available for funding, in which this is the only opportunity time that we can apply for design funds. So Public Works was fortunate enough, and we were awarded $587,000 for design of this project. Schedule-wise, because we are receiving federal funds, ADOT is a self-certified agency, and they will be the ones managing both the design and the construction, in which 4 federal clearances are necessary to obtain. And these will be obtained by the ADOT consultants. So typically, the design is a duration of 18 to 24 months. However, recently we've been seeing that the design takes less than the 18 months. And still and that's my mistake here, that the construction is anticipated to begin 2025, not 2021. The project. We are looking at Tomahawk Road from Highway US 60 to Southern Avenue. Portions of it is already wide enough to do, as you see in the picture, the 5 lanes to include street lights, bicycle lanes, curb gutters and sidewalks, and some drainage improvements. So in one of the pictures up front on the top there, you'll see like a dark gray hatch area there. That would be the new pavement that we're going to be putting in there for this project. And then you see a blue dashed where that's a proposed storm drain that will be collecting all the water, all the flooding from North Tomahawk Road, and it'll be collected in the storm drain, and it'll get further dispatched into the ADOT basin. I don't know if any of you guys are aware, but south of the Tomahawk US 60, there's the Ford Horn. And every single flooding situation we have here, their parking lot is just inundated. It's flooded. Sometimes you'll see like sandbags that they're already out there. So we're hoping that with the storm drain, to add this year, that all the water will go into the ADOT basin, and that we can alleviate Ford Horn of the drainage problems that we have here. So this next portion here is the actual intersection of Tomahawk Road and Southern Avenue. To the east of Tomahawk, that leads into Jacobs Ranch, but it's a 2-lane road that goes into a 4-lane road. So here is just a starting of it so that we can alleviate one of those lanes, make it a right turn lane only, and take people out to Jacobs Ranch and the new Goldview subdivision that has over 300 units in there, and they're still building. So still in this area here, we're looking at the road, a road widening, bicycle lanes, curb gutter sidewalks, sidewalk ramps, because we'll have that intersection built out. So everything will be done ADA accessible, and then the drainage improvements will start at this intersection. And then we're slightly expanding it on Southern Avenue. Southern Avenue, there's a short little section, actually it starts at Mariposa, right where that overpass is. So it goes down to 3 lanes at Mariposa Road. So we'll be widening to the north, which we have plenty of right-of-way. Everything's being done in the city's right-of-way. We won't have to do any right-of-way acquisitions. We'll make that the 5 lanes with the bicycle lanes. We're going to infill all the sidewalks that aren't currently there. There are curb and gutter. We may update the curb and gutter if it's cracked or if you just found that it's not ADA accessible, because some of those driveways are not ADA accessible. So we'll infill all the sidewalks that are missing in that area as well, too. So our cost share. I mentioned that we just received, like the $587,000 for design. Our share of that is $35,000. And on top of that, we do have to pay that $30,000 of the ADOT PM, the design fee. That's typical of ADOT. All ADOT projects, there is a $30,000 design and review fee that the city has to pay. So our share for the design is going to be $65,000 of a $653,000 design. The construction alone, as I mentioned, there's a cap of $1.4 million of the federal funds that we were awarded. Of that, our 5.7% of that is $85,000. The remaining portion, which is $580,000, is at city cost. At 100% is we'll have to pay for that. However, we will have another opportunity to go to MAG, request more closeout funds to pay for that $580,000 minus the city's 5.7% match. So in total, the total federal funds that we have thus far received for this project is $2 million. The city's total estimated funds is $729,000 for a total construction project of $2.7 million. This is on here for presentation, discussion, and consideration. The city does need to, if approved, we need to have this executed and payment sent to ADOT prior to June 1st. Any questions?
Yes.
Yep, Your Honor. Raquel, so why only to Southern Avenue? Why, I mean, Tomahawk, because then Tomahawk narrows back again there, doesn't it, going north?
Yes, however, because of the cap we have, of that $1.4 million, we're hoping to do this in phases, so this will be phase 1. We really wanted to connect and to get the drainage into the ADOT basin. We felt that this is the first phase, and then the second phase would be north of Southern Avenue, in which we'll get to Old West Highway, because Public Works' plan is to make Southern Avenue a bypass of the US 60. So that maybe like when it comes to the Renaissance Festival or anything else like that, if there's an accident or closures on the 60, that we can use Southern Avenue because it's wider, it's got more capacity than like Baseline does. And so that, so this would only be the first phase. We'll continue using this, the same funding source to go for phase 2 when the next call for projects come.
Thank you. One other question then, Raquel. If we pay that full amount for the construction cost, that $579 that you said, we would go back to MAG later on for a closeout. Even though we paid at ADOT, we can still apply and they can, that doesn't matter that we've already paid ADOT that amount?
So the amount that's going to be requested as soon as this IGA gets executed will be just for design. So all we'll be paying for would be the $30,000, which is the typical ADOT design and review fee that the city has to pay, and the city's 5.7% match, which is $35,000 for a total of $65,000. Once we get closer to construction, after the design has been completed, all the federal guidelines and clearances have been met, when it comes to construction, then we'll have to pay that additional amount of that 5.7%, which is the $85,000, which we've been fortunate enough to get these projects, the design completed prior to MAG, so that we can have a solid cost estimate to request the additional funds that we need to MAG. So like I mentioned, I mean, that $580,000, that 100% city match, we've been very fortunate enough to only get like have to pay 5.7% of that.
Good.
So.
Cool. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Do I have a motion on this item?
Your Honor.
Yes.
I move that resolution number 23-03, authorizing the city to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the Department of Transportation for the city's Tomahawk Road Widening Improvement Project be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call?
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yep.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Solar,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes, Your Honor.
Presentation, discussion, consideration, and approval for resolution number 23-04, extinguishment of Rain Dance Road from First Avenue to Second Avenue. Raquel?
Yes, okay, final one for tonight. Try to make this one quick. In a previous, I've been here earlier this year in regards to these federal patent easements, extinguishments. These easements were given to the city by BLM in hopes that the city would take them over, can build roads, that we can build them in a grid-type system. There's still a lot of these out there that are still easements and haven't been either relinquished or dedicated to the city. So our process is that we accept these applications, we take them in, we then send out a map with explanation as to the limits of the actual easement location, and we request utilities to let us know if they have any objections to relinquishment of these easements. However, in this case, the applicant went forth and proceeded and got all the utility easements extinguished prior to this roadway easement. So we didn't move forth with doing the notification since we've already got all the recorded documents for their easements to be extinguished. The location of this resolution is Rain Dance between First Avenue and Second Avenue. So the purpose of this is actually the applicant, under advisement of Development Services, has extinguished all the utility easements for purpose of future development within the current 33-foot right-of-way and public utility easements. Very briefly for this picture, everything that you see in the dark green is dedicated right-of-way. Everything in the light green is federal patent easement. What's shaded in the red are easements that have already been extinguished, and what's highlighted or what's outlined in the red is what the former Public Works Director determined are the easements that Public Works would not deem necessary to build a road. And when I said deem necessary, they may be a wash in which it crosses. Both former directors, Larry Kirch and Mike Weaver, had numerous meetings in which to determine which streets that we would keep open and available for open spaces or trails. And these outlined in the red are not those areas. So this item here is for a presentation, discussion, and consideration. Do you guys have any questions?
Any questions?
No.
Don't see any. Okay, do I have a motion for this item?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that resolution number 2304, an extinguishment of a federally patented easement of Rain Dance Road from First Avenue to Second Avenue, be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call?
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Solar,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, direction to staff, we don't have anything at this time. I'd like to remind everyone, the call of the public is a courtesy and not required by law. It's a time for the public to express their requests, communications, comments, and suggestions. Requests to speak forms must have been completed, and handed to the city clerk before the end of the city manager's report. All issues shall be presented in a professional manner without personal attacks. Under the open meeting law, the council cannot engage in a discussion on the issues, but may respond to criticism and may direct staff to follow up with the speaker directly and/or place this matter on a future agenda for the council decision. There's a 3-minute speaker time limit, and you must put your name and address in the beginning. Does anyone, oh, I know, I got them in my hand, excuse me. Mr. Schroeder.
Thank you. Thank you. George Schroeder, 244 West Virginia Street, Apache Junction, Arizona. Pardon my throat. Short bit. Put the pamphlets up on your front of you to help you understand why I got so mad last time. You accused me of this and that and that, and this is what the city did to me. It's illegal, completely illegal. Now that you know, because you didn't know what the other half of the city was doing to me. Okay? I called somebody an idiot. They want to take my gun rights away. They don't like that I don't stand for the flag. They don't like that I don't stand for the prayer. That's why the last time I was here, I was like that. You can't have it both ways. Now, I want to thank Raquel. Her office is doing really good in my streets. She deserves all the credit. In the vacuum of Mike, we were leaving and a new boss. She's doing a great job. Garbage contract. You don't have a right to discriminate against a portion of the residents that are getting garbage and have to obey to children of a lesser God about whether we should have garbage or not, whether we should have the choice or not. You can't do that. We will be addressing that in the near future. Not that you don't have the law that I helped undo. You don't have a reason to have this garbage. I don't care about the money. It's never been about the money. It's about control from the city managers to the resident in favor of allied waste. That's crap, and you know it. Now, squatters. There's an article here recently, last weekend. Our code enforcement's making deals with nefarious people. Have been for 35 years. They go out and say, okay, you got a problem with that, but we'll make you a deal on this. Case in point, 2624 West Ohio Street. It is really amazing. In 10 years, they've been talked to about their fence. All of a sudden, they got a brand new block wall with bars on top of it. I think the city paid for it. I think we need to check into that. I'd really like an answer on that. And the building is on 2 separate properties. It's never been illegal. It's never been able to be grandfathered in. So whatever stuff and reason Mr. Co-Director is coming up with, unacceptable. We got to get rid of it. And the lady across the street from me with her fence, also illegal. Nobody wants to admit it. I've had people out there, look, they agree it's illegal, it's not right. Bad look for my neighborhood. So, what? Let's make a deal with the people out there and nobody has anything to say about it? They are not my God.
Catherine Meek.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name's Catherine Meek, 1327 West Bel Air Road, Apache Junction. I was just coming here for something totally different. This weekend, starting Thursday at the Superstition Mountain Museum, is the Magic of Mexican Artistry. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there will be artists from Oaxaca and Mod Ortiz giving presentations and demonstrations, their artistry between pottery making. We have master potterers. We have silversmiths making filigree jewelry. We've got weavers. We have wood carvers who do intricate wood carvings and brightly colored painting on the outside. Everything outside is free, so come on out, see these artists from Mexico who are known throughout the world, not just the United States, Mexico, but they travel all over. Also, at 1 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, we have our regular stamp mill demonstration, talk about the mining and the history of mining, and make a little noise when they fire up the stamp mill. Then at 2 o'clock, there will be a free lecture. Porfirio Gutierrez is going to be speaking. He is a descendant of the Zapotec weavers. He's been recognized by the Smithsonian as an artist who is working on preserving the traditional methods of fabric weaving and fabric dyeing. It's just all really fun stuff to do outside. Everything is free once again. Friday night, starting at 4:30, we've got a a dinner and entertainment event, a fundraiser, is $25 per person. There's artists performing and storytelling going on, and pretty cheap for a Friday night. If you want any more information about any of this, you can visit the website Superstition Mountain Lost Dutchman Museum.org, or Google Superstition Mountain Museum. You'll find it pretty quickly. Thank you very much for your time.
Jack, Matt, Horn? Help me out on that one.
Matashoni.
Magishoni.
Yeah, I always go by Jack normally, because I know they're not going to pronounce my last name, so. Okay, the reason I'm here, decided to show up, is that, now first, let me say this. Outstanding, you guys got an outstanding staff here. You know, they did a good presentation. First time I've ever been here in this council meeting and seen what you guys do. So I'm real impressed. I love the area. I just moved here back in 2017 from Florida. So, anyway.
Your address.
Pardon?
Your address.
Oh, sorry. 766 North Mountain View Road, Apache Junction. And the reason I'm here tonight is because I'd like to have possibly, because we have a social contract with you guys, at least most of your voters do, and that social contract is public trust, of course, and it seems to be currently in our life, unfortunately for all of us, that sometimes no one follows that social contract anymore, and they just kind of like go around it, and they just kind of like push into the gray areas to manipulate things, and I'm kind of hoping that's not what we got going here in Apache Junction. I would like to see if we could possibly, maybe each one of you reflect inside yourself here on this code of conduct where I was talking about, and not have, because we have another election coming up on the 2024, and not have someone on the city council or the government as a whole endorse a partisan candidate. The issues are fine, they're nonpartisan, but when you endorse a partisan candidate, you're going to divide your community. And you definitely put people, when they're on the line there. And that's just something I think you guys need to really take a look at. I would like to see a possible, and it's up to you, I mean, some people may not be able to do it, but I would like to see like an apology for doing it, for endorsing a public candidate, a partisan candidate in this last election. And we all know what I'm talking about. And anyway, I'd like you guys, don't get, like this is not personal, I just think we need to focus on public trust. Thanks.
Brenda Guilford.
I said everything I needed to earlier, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone want to make comments? See none, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.